Welcome to the Scoop with Dukes. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka DukesTheScoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at DukesTheScoop. And please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you have not become a member, please scroll down to the bottom. When you go to the description, you'll see a link where you can become a member. Today, I got a friend of the show. He's almost like my co-host at this point, my man Jay from Unfair Sports and Locked On Sooners. What we're going to talk about today is this Oklahoma Auburn game, and he's going to let us know what to be looking for from the Oklahoma point of view. Jay, what's going on, man?
What's good, Dukes, man? Yeah, basically, I got a toothbrush in the back. I already know, what I'm saying? I appreciate you leaving it there. Don't throw it away, man. I plan on using it on a consistent basis. But nah, man, thanks for having me up here, bro.
Man, I appreciate it. So listen, for someone who's as well versed when it comes to Sooner land as you are, Locked On Sooner, one of the best Locked On sites in the country. First of all, congrats on that.
Appreciate
Secondly,
it.
I had a controversial take this week. And a lot of people are giving me a lot of stuff about it. I think that Jackson Arnold is John Mateer light. I think there are a lot of things that they do similar in size. They both from Texas, similar in size. Games are kind of similar. I give John Mateer, he's maybe a little bigger, a little stronger, and a stronger arm.
You ain't crazy, dog. Like that's not that far off of a take because, and sorry to cut you off on that, because like thinking about that, first off, for the uninitiated, John Mateer went to Little Elm. Jackson Arnold was at Denton Guyer, both in North Texas. They played against each other. Like Mateer knows Arnold from high school, which Arnold's a year behind him, but they played in a game against each other. And Mateer's like, yeah, they beat my tails. One of my worst games or whatnot. And Jackson Arnold had a big one, but you're right. Size wise, they're about the same in size. I think Jackson's maybe an inch taller, but Mateer's like 220, 225. He's built more like Jalen Hurts. Like when people ask me, who do I compare him to? Everybody toss out Baker, right? It's mainly because he's a white dude that talks shit, right? That's really all it is. But I tell everybody, no, he's not. He's more of a Jalen Hurts with a little bit stronger arm. That's his game. He squats almost 600 pounds. He's a dude that runs because he got tree trunk legs. He's pretty fast. He's fast enough. Like Hurts isn't the fastest dude. He's fast enough. That's his game. But you're right. Jackson Arnold is like I guess you could say like a light version or a diet version of what Mateer is today. And if Jackson Arnold gets the confidence to where he's willing to take the risk on passes, dude, he could be similar to what Mateer is. I think that's probably the biggest knock I have still on Jackson Arnold and watching him play this year. He still feels hesitant in some of his plays, like in some of his decision making. Because if he goes out there and just slings it, that's what Mateer does, right? He has more turnovers. He's more of a turnover dude. But it's because he's going to fit that ball in tight windows. Jackson Arnold kind of could do that, but he don't. That's the one thing that probably bothers me is he doesn't try to do that.
From watching Jackson last year to this year, first 3 games. Last year, Jackson Arnold was sacked 9 times in his first 3 games. This year, I believe it's totally different.
Yep.
What would you say is the biggest difference in his game from last year to this year? Have you seen any progression in Jackson Arnold?
Truth be told, his first three there at Auburn and compared to Oklahoma, the biggest difference I see is he's got a healthy offensive line and wide receivers. Now, granted, Eric Singleton was dealing with a hip pointer situation, but that's not too bad because you got Cam Coleman right there next to him. So, and you got some young receivers that are coming up, but he's got healthy receivers and the offensive line has been pretty healthy. So that's, to me, the 2 biggest things, right? He had to go out there last year for Oklahoma and he had 4 different centers in 3 games. Keep that in mind, right? And that's all because of injuries. All because somebody got rolled up on and it wasn't even practice roll up. It was literally in game. So he had to deal with going through multiple centers, and that's where a lot of his struggle came in. And then from there, like this year, he hasn't really had to pass the ball. And shout out to Hugh Freeze for being smart that he ain't forced him to. It's more of a, well, they gonna let us run, then we gonna run. Like why change it? You don't need to outsmart everybody. Sometimes if they're giving it to you, take that ish. It's okay. And that's what we're seeing out of Jackson Arnold today is he's just taking what's given to him. And Hugh Freeze is like, well, like the Baylor game is probably the best example of how this team and how Jackson Arnold, maturity wise, has recognized that, oh, okay, if you're not going to give me this, I'm going to take it. Hugh Freeze seeing that same thing, saying, well, they're not going to bring dudes up to stop the run. So Jackson, go back. If you don't see anything, tuck and run, because they're going to give you a lane. And what he did was exactly what you're supposed to do to win games. So now, say this though, Dukes, and I know the Auburn people ain't going to like hearing this part though, but this is what I've been hearing all day long and all week long about John Mateer. It's not a sustainable way to win games. That's a lie. It really is. Jackson Arnold could probably win a whole bunch of games just running all over everybody. I've seen teams not really throw the ball and win a lot of games. It can probably work, but if you go up against a team that's got a stout enough a defensive line that can plug a lot of those holes and linebackers that know where to fill those run lanes and gaps, then you may run into a problem where you got to throw it. And so the only way to find that out, though, is somebody's got to be smart enough to actually make that man throw. That's what we're waiting for.
All right, now let me ask you this about Mateer. So we've seen Mateer, he will turn the ball over, but it's worth it when you see some of the throws that he makes. What's been the most impressive thing that you've seen since John Mateer has been wearing the maroon of is it maroon?
It's crimson and cream.
Excuse me. Crimson and cream of the Oklahoma Sooners.
Man, it's honestly just basically as you said, he's willing to take those risks. He's going to throw the ball in places that we haven't seen since, honestly, Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray been around. Like those are, actually, take that back. Caleb Williams. Last time we've really seen this was Caleb era. Even Dylan didn't really do this that much. But he'll throw it in some tight spots where you're like, wait, where are you? Oh. And then the receiver makes a fantastic freaking catch. I think the Michigan catch, he threw it across the middle to tight end Jaren Kanak, like on 3rd and like 9 or 3rd and 7 or something like that. And he found the hole in Michigan and he lobbed it so perfectly. And then Kanak caught it, which this is his shirt, him and his dog Burger. He caught the ball, one-handed, brought it in and made the catch. And everybody's like, dude, that's a risky throw. And it was like, but it was so pinpoint accurate at where he threw it. You can tell and see where he's improved in that part of his game. And so for me, it's been just the fact that he'll take risks, put balls in the right spot. Man, stuff's impressive, dog.
What scares you about Jackson Arnold and in the orange and blue of Auburn? As somebody who covers Oklahoma, when you think Jackson Arnold is like, all right, what gives you a little bit of pause?
Doubt the dude can run.
Yeah.
I'm like keeping it a buck. I know he can throw because I've seen him make the deep passes. I've seen him make the deep passes for both schools. I saw him in Oklahoma. And this is why Oklahoma fans were so high on Jackson Arnold last season before everything fell apart. When he came in for mop-up duty, dude was elite. He was changing plays, making adjustments, looked great. But that was with Levy. Then you had the bowl game against Arizona, and he was slinging it. The only reason why, like, there was one of the drives that was going down. Oklahoma was about to go up 31-13, and then the receiver caught it, fumbled it, and they returned it for a touchdown, and then the whole game fell apart after that. But you saw something in him. You're like, all right, I see that. But you also knew the line was going to be inexperienced the next season because most of the veterans transferred out because Oklahoma really likes their recruits. They like the guys they brought in, and so they want to play them. So by playing young players, you run into some issues in that capacity. This year, luckily, a lot of that's been fixed because you got more veterans, and you got a mixture of both. But his ability to tuck and go and be able to evade tackles is very impressive. Like, most Sooner fans were very nervous his freshman year because Jeff Lebby kept running him into the back of people, like a bulldozer. And that's the only time you bring him in. It's like, nah, dog, don't do that, man. We don't want the man to get hurt. And then you realize, oh wait, this is actually what he's strong at. And so, like, he can do it. And when he wants to put touch on passes and he's not afraid to, dude's launching it. I see that Auburn and Hugh Freeze is building his confidence with that. That's the thing that needs to accelerate faster. He's got to stop being afraid of making a turnover and start throwing it at the tighter windows.
That's one of the things that Auburn fans are most concerned about is he holds on to the ball too long.
He does.
Right. And they also say, is he decisive enough? John Mateer is really decisive. But let me ask you this question. What about Auburn's defense makes you kind of worry, like, all right, well, Mateer can't do this. What does Mateer have to do to be successful against Auburn's defense?
Man, to be truth be told, man, he's gonna have to make sure that he's moving his protection around, especially with that
Mhm.
defensive line. Keep those edges working. Make sure those interior guys are split. That way, there's enough of a pocket. Because if he does some more scrambling, I think he'll be fine. He'll probably do more bootlegging and stuff and moving the pocket around just to help give him some additional time. Because truth be told, Materia has a tendency of holding the ball too. That's
Okay.
similar to Jackson Arnold. The difference is that Mateer breaks tackles and will launch it like right afterwards in some ridiculous area of the field, and you're like, wait, where are you throwing it? Oh shoot, there's a receiver there. First
Wow.
down. Wait, he may score. So you get all of those ups and downs with him all the time. So to me, it's really going to be that defensive line there at Auburn. Auburn typically always has a pretty solid one, so it's going to be some work in keeping them at bay. Even though this line has been really good at blocking, especially for the pass, we just got to get better at the run. And I think because Mateer is a quote unquote flight risk, he's going to run similar to Jackson Arnold. Those Auburn linebackers are going to have to really be on the swivel. Like you can have a guy spy, but you gotta be careful. Make sure that spy doesn't leave a receiver wide open somewhere. And so that's what Material's gonna have to do. He's gonna have to look in, he's gonna have to locate that spy, and he's gonna figure out how to get his receivers into a spot where they can get some yards.
Defensively, there's a guy who Auburn fans probably remember from last year. And I believe it's Kip Lewis,
Yep.
linebacker. He had the pick six in the game last year. Talk to me about how Kip Lewis is helping to bridge the gap between losing a guy like Danny Stutzman and tell us about the rest of the linebacking core at Oklahoma.
Man, truth be told, man, Kip is one of the bigger leaders in that room. And as you know, last year, had the Kip six. He had the pick six in that game. He had a pick six against Alabama.
Alabama, right?
Yes, he's the dude is really good in dropping back in coverage, and he's a hitter. Like, well, it's funny when he came in at like 210, 215. And I was like, dang, he's got to put on some weight, man. And so in 23, we played Texas, and the infamous video that floats around of us stuffing Texas at the 1 yard line was mainly because Kip busted through there and was knocking back dudes and getting tackles in the backfield. You're like, where does this dude coming from? And then you start learning, oh, I'm
That's it,
seeing
right.
where the progression is here, right?
Right.
And so he's one of the leaders there, but the guy that really stepped up to me this year the most is Kobe McKenzie. And
Okay.
Kobe McKenzie, he it's funny, he committed to Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley left, he flipped to Texas. When Brent Venables came, he flipped back to Oklahoma. Now, Kobe McKenzie there was a picture of him when he was a senior in high school standing next to Kenneth Murray. He was bigger than Kenneth Murray.
Wow.
He's a linebacker with the Chargers at the time. He looks
Mhm.
bigger than him. And so he's the one that in a lot of games at the end of the season, BV had him out there instead of Stutzman.
Okay.
So you started to see a lot of these young dudes playing in critical moments. I remember in the Alabama game, I'm like, hey man, why isn't Danny in there? Why I'm looking down, I'm like, wait, that's Kobe. What is Kobe doing down there? But then I realized he was making sure these dudes get experience in critical moments and make the right decisions. They showed him that in practice. So he said, you're going to get the opportunity in the game. And then they kept showing it in the game. And so to me, Kobe's your dude that's going to be able to help with the run stuffing because he's a bigger guy. He's about 245. So he's
wow.
about like Danny was, but he's a little bit faster, even though both of them ain't that fast. They just good enough at getting to the spot. So you got those two. You add a Samuel Masigo, who's a pretty fast guy. He's about the same size as Kobe at about 235, 240, but he's faster. He's a lot faster. He's a better coverage guy. And then the one big guy that I love the most, y'all seen that video against Michigan where he laid out Justin Hayes. That's Kendall Daniels. He's a linebacker, safety, and edge. Is basically he plays all three positions. He came from Oklahoma State, local Oklahoma kid from Beggs, Oklahoma. Shout out to them. That big giant dude, 6'5" with a 7-foot wingspan, about 245, 250. He's the dude that will probably, and Jackson Arnold's never seen him before. He's the dude that's probably going to give him the most problem just because he has a huge wingspan and he's pretty quick at getting, especially if you're passing it in the flats. The linebacker room, man, is going to be fun to watch and see exactly what Hugh Freeze has cooked up to stop him.
Now Auburn is really excited about their wide receiver room. You talk about Cam
Mm-hmm.
Coleman, we talk about E. Singleton. Malcolm Simmons is probably the unsung hero, and a lot of people feel like he may
Yeah.
be the best of the three. Talk to me about how Oklahoma is going to counter. I know you guys got this true freshman quarterback. I think Gentry still. I mean, excuse me, cornerback. You still
Yeah.
got Gentry there. You got guys who got plenty of experience. Bowen, is it Peyton Bowen? I believe.
Eli. Peyton's
Eli.
out there, yes. Peyton's out there, yes. Eli's not, but yes, we've got both.
Yeah, right. Yep. Peyton Bowen and Eli's hurt. Correct.
Yeah, Eli's hurt. Eli has an ankle injury, and he won't play in this game. But Peyton is the starting strong safety, and he will be out there. He's the athlete. He's the one that he was Jackson Arnold's roommate
Oh
in
wow.
college. They were best
Okay.
friends in high school, so yeah, they know each
Okay.
other very well.
So let's talk about the counters that Oklahoma has for this great wide receiver room that Auburn has.
Yeah, man. So that's kind of one of the big things that this year Oklahoma has seen a lot more benefit, right? Brent Venables has done a really good job of calling the defense, but the bigger portion has been that those corners have been a lot better in the secondary than expected. Now, granted, we haven't gone against like the greatest passers yet, and Jackson doesn't pass a lot, so we're still waiting to see when we go against someone that's going to really challenge him.
Mm-hmm.
But Cortland Guillory's the true freshman corner. That dude's a dog. I was talking to my boy over at 247, and he was telling me when he would go to camps, Cortland would go hunt out the 5-star wide receiver and say, "Hey, can I match up with him?" And they're like, he's like, "Yeah, I want him. Win or lose, I want to battle them." And I had heard that the same thing would happen at Oklahoma practices. He wanted the number 1 and number 2 wide receiver at all times. It's the only dudes he wanted to play coverage on because he just wanted to sharpen his skills. He wanted to make sure he'd be good in man-to-man against dudes that are fast, dudes that are quick, really good with route running. Whoever was running the best routes that day in practice, he's like, "All right, I got them. That's who I want." And so he's hungry for this game. This is a game for him. This is, as Robert Spears Jennings, our starting free safety, would say, this is a money game. This is a game where NFL scouts are going to be watching. This is a game NFL scouts are going to be in attendance. They were in attendance for Michigan. They're going to be in attendance here. This is the game where you're going to make that money because when they see you ball against someone that they know that's presumed to be really good. We know Eric Singleton's good. We know Cam Coleman is good. Malcolm Simmons, I've been watching him. We know that he's solid, right? He's that dude that stepped in because of the injury you dealt with Singleton. They all like, yeah, this is how we prove to NFL scouts that we've got the capabilities. If we can close things down here, we good going pro, especially when the draft comes up. And a lot of these dudes had the opportunity. Gentry's now healthy, and he was a beast when he was healthy in 23. Last year was dealing with a shoulder deal. Now his shoulder's good. So we'll have him and Cortland to switch it up a lot. So it just depends on who wants which one. I'm actually honestly expecting Cortland to ask for Cam Coleman because he's the healthier one.
Okay. All right. I think last but not least, let's talk about Oklahoma's defensive line. Who should we be looking for? We know about R. Mason Thomas. Now, this is a guy, and I talked about it in my last video, that Auburn, I think Auburn dropped the ball on him. He was out of Cardinal Gibbons. He had a really good relationship with a recruiter on Auburn staff, T. Reed, who's now at USC. But that T. Reed was adamant about R. Mason Thomas, and he ends up at Oklahoma. And man, what a revelation! So even though he's out for the half, he's the type of guy that can make an impact in a quarter, much less a half. So you got to be watching out for him. Let's talk about Oklahoma's defensive line.
Man, R. Mason Thomas is dog. He's gonna be a beast, and it's sad that we don't have him for the first half, but I think we've got capable guys to take his place. You got Marvin Jones Jr., the former 5-star that played at Georgia and Florida State. He's starting to get back his legs underneath him now. He's getting comfortable. Another 5-star, PJ Adebaware, he's got his size up to 270, and he's still moving fast at 6'5". So he's still got his bend. And he's got his bend, and he's got the speed back, and he can still leverage a bunch of strength. So you got some fun on the edge side, man. Another guy, Taylor Wine, he was an accidental recruit. Oh, wow. Like it was one of those, they went to Brentwood, Tennessee, looking at a wide receiver, and then they saw Wine, and like, who's that dude? Let me talk to him. Right. Let me talk to him. I kind of like what he's doing out there.
Right.
And next thing you know, he's here, and shoot, he's out there terrorizing people as well. But I think that interior is where the strength is. You've got Jaden Jackson, who's a true freshman All-American. Him with Dominic Williams. Then you got 5-star David Stone right behind him. And right now he's considered.
Forgot about David Stone.
Yeah, Stone's right there. And Stoney's having a year. Grade is fantastic. He's playing a lot more snaps, are increasing, and then you've got Grayson Halton, who NFL scouts him and putting him in the top 150 for the draft at D line. So you got those four right there rotating all the time. Man, if there's one thing that I know and feel super comfortable saying is I think Oklahoma has one of the top three, if not the best defensive lines in the SEC.
Wow, that's huge praise. All
These
right, it's
masters.
time. You gotta give us a prediction. How do you see this game going, and give us a score?
I'm gonna ride with Oklahoma taking this bad boy, and man, I just think that I think Brent Venables is just gonna just have things just so murky in this one, 25-9. I think we only give up 3 field goals. I think we hold them to
Wow,
no
not even
touchdowns
a
in this game.
touchdown.
No, I think that's the goal. These dudes are hungry for not giving up a touchdown. We've only given up 1 rushing touchdown this season, and the goal is to not do that anymore.
Wow. Hey man, you know what? I'm hoping that Auburn can literally make you sound silly. But
I do. Hey, I'm here for it.
right, for sure. But I'm going. So I put my money where my mouth was. I went mybookie.ag. I went. I wish I had the screenshot, but I went, took $1,000, put it on Auburn. Said, hey man, I think 7 points is way too many, and I actually could have went money line, but yeah, I think I think Auburn pulls it out. Let's go 28-24 Auburn. All right, so listen, man, to everybody, make sure you check my man Jay out because he does more than Oklahoma. He's got Locked On Sooners. He's got Unfair Sports. He's got Prime Time College Football, CFB. Where can everybody find you, big dog?
All those places, man. If I'll be Unfair Sports here on YouTube with me and my guy Coop, me and my guy Johns over on Locked On Sooners, and then of course, Primetime CFB is where I do my Colorado content. Thanks for letting me pull up, bro.
Nah, man, I appreciate you, man. And as always, man, thank y'all for tuning in to the Scoop with Dukes. I will see you later. I'm out.